Hey everybody, how are you doing? Welcome to the Yarn Thing podcast with Marley Bird. I'm your host, Marley Bird. You can catch the Yarn Thing podcast live most Tuesdays and Thursday mornings. Oops. Do you hear that?
Me? What do you hear?
I heard myself talking. That's hilarious. Oh, it's so funny. Oh, you know what? It was so funny. I was just telling today's guest how difficult it is because there's so many things happening on my screen. And then all of a sudden I hear my voice talking. I'm like, what's happening? And I had YouTube up over here on that screen. So sorry. All right. So usually you can catch the Yarn Thing podcast live on Tuesday mornings, no longer on Thursdays at 10 o'clock Mountain Time. That is 12 o'clock on the East Coast, 9 o'clock on the West Coast, and 11 o'clock in the Midwest. If you are anywhere else in the world and would like to join us live for the podcast, please Google what time 10 o'clock Mountain Time is for you. Or better yet, just subscribe to the Marley Bird YouTube channel. Make sure you hit that little bell notification, and every time I go live, you will be notified. That way you won't miss out on any of the wonderful guests I have on the show or a chance to win prizes. Let's say thank you to our lovely sponsors, Buffalo Wool Company, Aaron Lane Bags, Creative Bug, Craftsy.com, and last but not least, Red Heart Yarns, where I'm the proud national spokesperson. You can learn more about my sponsors by visiting marleybird.com, clicking on the podcast drop-down menu, and clicking on sponsors. If you get a chance to see any of the sponsors at any of these events you're attending this time of year, please go and say hello and thank them for sponsoring your favorite podcast. All right, so today's guest is a new friend of mine, and I am excited. I got her book in the mail, and I was like, what is this? And I was so thrilled about it. I'm talking about the Loome Party book, and so I can't pronounce her first name, but she said I could call her V, and it's V Bunnag is how you pronounce it. So let's say hello to V. Hi, V. How you doing?
Hi, Marley. Good morning. You're making me smile so hard. I love your energy.
Well, thanks. I think it's funny. I'm sitting here telling you, oh yeah, I've been podcasting for so long, and then I totally flub up the start. I was like, awesome. That is stellar. Anyways, I know that you have been traveling a lot, doing promotions for the book and stuff, but for people who might not have seen the book, or maybe they were at Barnes & Noble and did see the book, and they're like, oh, what is this all about? Why don't we start by telling them a little bit about you and how this became something of interest for you?
Okay, great. So my name is Vilasinee, if you want to pronounce my whole name, but I go by V. I started with the Loome about 2.5 years ago. This is an invention, and I'm so glad to share with you guys that we do have, we received the patent for these tools last year, and then we're waiting for another type of utility patent. But I've always been a crafter. I knitted back in the days when we had home ec classes in junior high school. I've been knitting. I don't crochet as much. Sorry, Marley.
That's okay.
But I've been knitting. So I've always had kind of all this fiber around me. But I've also been, I'm from Thailand. I was born and raised there. So craft and art is such a huge part of our culture. I remember just even when I was little, we were making gifts all the time. That's just like the nature of our culture. And when I co-invented this tool, it's so new. I mean, one of the things that we did was we just went out and just started talking to people about the tool and demoing the tool, etc. What I can say is that the fiber community is the most curious and enthusiastic community. Every time I still go to shows, like I was just at Craftcation, and then, I do Vogue Knitting Live. I do a lot of craft shows. I just can't believe how curious people are because, educating people about new tools are always hard. So it's just been really, when they say you hit the thing that you love to do, I think this is definitely it for me. And so that's how I got started with the tool. We invented it. We started designing different iteration, and then Pom-Pom was having a renaissance, and it's still having a renaissance, and it just was the right timing. And I've always wanted to do a book, and I was really, really lucky to work with the folks at Abrams to put together this Loome Party book.
I love it. Now, Pom-Poms are having a renaissance. They are huge right now. So my daughter saw this book, and she's looking at this little kind of eyeball looking one at the back. Yeah. She was like, I could make that, mommy. And I was like, sure, Yeah, she's 15 and still calls me mommy, but it's like, especially when she wants something. But So the book itself, let's explain to people what they're getting when they get the book, because it's, I mean, for somebody who might not know, they might be like, "Oh, why do you need a whole book on pom-poms?" But let's tell them why.
Okay, awesome. So the great thing about this book is divided up into 3 sections. It has this kind of first getting started book. And for those who are yarn experts, you might not need as much information because this has, a lot of stuff about fiber. So this is really good for starters. But if you're an expert yarn person, it also has a section on color planning, color symbolism, which is something that I really love and we don't talk that much about. But it's basically how to pick colors based on different events or moments in your life. This is really important in Eastern kind of philosophy, but also Western. I actually used to have this job where we actually really had to think about what color we chose all the time. And then we had like planning your project. So you know what you need. The goal of this book for me was to come up with a book that actually access your yarn stash. So, we know that when we knit and crochet or do general craft, there is that stash of either precious yarn or yarn that you're just like, I don't know what to do with this.
No, I don't know what that means at all. I only buy yarn if I have a project for it. I have tons of projects.
Just the right amount. And it's, and I was at Little Knittery this weekend in LA and everybody just brought in their yarn scraps and we made pom-poms with it. And it was and they look amazing. So, and then there's a section on foundation. So foundation, you guys might not know, the tool actually not only makes pom-poms, it actually makes pom-poms of all sizes. It also makes tassels, friendship bracelets, cording, and small weaving. So it does make 5 different crafts. And then the foundation section, which I love, has instructions on how to make different types of pom-pom, not just one pom-pom, about 4 types of tassels, different types of woven friendship bracelets, weaving, cording, and I feel like I'm missing up. That's it. And then the great thing about this is that at the end of the book, there's 17 projects with different artists and makers that I've met throughout the years of, people who really have been so generous at supporting me and our super creative projects. And these projects are great because, again, it's for the yarn stash and it's everything from necklaces to earrings to a weaving piece for the wall. And I set up these projects so that they could take anywhere from 20 minutes to 3.5 hours. So it depends what you want to do. And I have to say, Abrams and my editor wanted to call it Loom Party. And then I was like, Loom Party. I'm not sure, And then I realized this weekend I did an event. I did several events at Craftcation, the Craft Museum in LA, and Little Knittery. And I realized Loom Party totally makes sense because you can you could do this by yourself or get just a few people together with some yarn scraps and it actually really becomes a party, which is super fun.
That is so cool. I love it. And the earrings you have on, did you make those? I'm assuming.
Yeah, I did. So, and and the thing is, a lot of these things, it doesn't take a lot of yarn. Pom-poms, I do have to say, is the only thing. If you have a lot of yarn stash, make pom-poms with it. Everything else, you could make such beautiful things with just a tiny bit of, yarn you have left, even 3 feet of yarn.
I love it. It's so cool. I love this. I wanted to show you. I can't show you the whole thing.
Oh, yes!
Can you see it? Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to click on the screen. Can you guys see my pom-pom? So it's attached to a hat that I can't show everybody yet. But isn't that I had so much fun making this pom-pom. And it's massive. And you know what I did? Let me show you what I did. So I used a button on the inside so that I can remove it. So I just tied it so I can remove the pom-pom and wash the hat later, But I liked it. I thought it was cool.
I love it. Pom-poms make everything happy, right?
Yes. And a big pom-pom like on a little newborn. I think it's so adorable. I think it's so cute. So I'm flipping through the book and you have okay, let me back up. One of the things that I will get a lot of questions on here on the YouTube channel is, hey, I love making pom-poms, but they always fall apart or they always come off my piece. What instructions do you provide in the book or can you share with us like your tricks.
Yep, sure. So, I always tell people there's three tips for making a tight, dense pom-pom, or any type of pom-pom that doesn't fall apart. It's using enough yarn. Most people, when they're winding yarn, it looks like a lot, but you always need more, especially if you're making a dense one. Making a tight double knot, that is key. And making a tight double knot requires two things. One, really strong, thin yarn. Never make your tight double knot with the yarn that you're using, because that yarn's usually thick or it could rip. I love embroidery floss, especially if it's DMC or a brand that's really reputable, because they tend to be extremely strong and they're thin. So even if your first or second tight double knot isn't tight, you could make another one and another one and another one. So that, and then also there's a technique to tying that's included in the book, but I'm actually going to do another video on tying, because somebody who teaches macrame gave me another trick. So there's two ways of doing it, but working really close and tight. And then the other piece is trimming, as you know, hair cutting. People are always worried about cutting. I always say, just go for it. You could always make another one if you cut too much, but trimming a lot helps it become that kind of tight, round pom-pom. And your pom-pom, because it's so big, and I think are you using bulky yarn-ish?
No, it's worsted weight.
Okay. So, a pom-pom like that, you can just also trim. It's not as tight, but it looks fabulous. I mean, there's so many different types of pom-poms you could make, but that's the tips that I would say.
Yeah, I love the way I love that it's, I don't know, it looks like speckly.
Yeah, it's so cute.
I loved it. I thought it was so fun. So here you are. You said you helped design. I mean, can I just ask you about the process of developing the tool? Because that is something really unique. We don't get a lot of people on here that actually hold the patent of whatever it is that they are talking about. What was that like?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So, so the tool itself, I don't know, some of your users might know what the lucette is. The lucette is an old Viking medieval tool. It looks like a handheld harp with the stick on it. Yes. And it actually was used by the Vikings to make cords for ships and things like that. So that was the original design. And we just added notches to make it so that these notches can hold, string and other things. That's why this tool actually expanded its functionality to 5 different things. But then I have to say that tool for making pom-pom, the shape of it just wasn't functionally that strong. And again, this is like the process of actually designing and testing a product. The curve makes it really hard to actually keep the yarn from slipping under the tool when you're making pom-pom. So I just started designing other ones. I've always loved design. I don't have a design degree or anything like that, so I'm a little bit self-taught, but I just love useful tools. So I just started designing different shapes, and it turned out we tested it for, I have to say, 6 months, using it multiple times a day, making sure it's the right thickness of wood, the right feel of the wood. Before, one of the first version, these curved sides used to be really straight. So when they're straight, it doesn't feel so good, and it doesn't glide as well. Like the smallest thing, but it's such a great process. And
it's real smooth.
Yeah. And, I would say my advice would be, when you create anything or develop any product, use it to that depth, because until you really apply it, you won't get to a really good tool. I mean, even this at the bottom, you have just 5 notches instead of 6. And then we realized when we were warping it for a small weaving, it doesn't make sense to have 5. It should have 6, an even number that helps, allows you to have more warp. Just little things like that. But it's, that part, the designing part, took a while just for testing. We got really lucky. I felt like the first time we did it, it looked really good already. It was just about refining it. And the patent is a whole different story. And I'd recommend anyone who's interested or want to ever develop a product is to find a really good intellectual property or IP attorney. Yes. I try to do it on the cheap. And I think when you have a patent, cheap doesn't work. You end up paying at the end instead. So
Yeah.
And that was a lesson I learned. Yeah.
Wow.
And now I have a great attorney. So
that's good. I have a good attorney too. Maybe it could
it
be the
makes a
same
huge
attorney.
difference, right? Yeah.
It really does.
And it's money well spent in a lot of ways, you know, and
Yeah.
it's hard when you're starting a business. You're like, oh, I want to save, but you just have to decide some things are totally worth saving money on. Some things are not.
Amen. Amen. I love this. And I love that the book comes with the tools. So I want to show everybody.
Yep.
So this is the back of the book. And I'll show you how easy this is. So you just pop this open and the tool is right there. So it still has storage for you. You can still put it back and it just fits really nicely in there. It's like, it's a good snug fit. It actually works better if I put it there and then close it. And it's all closed and it's there ready for me to use again.
It's so cute, right? It's like a little cabinet.
I love it. I love it. This is so cool. Like you were doing tassels here in a different manner than I've ever done them. The ones where they look like they're wrapped.
Yeah.
That is so cool. I've never seen that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show everybody. So like this one right here.
Yeah.
Of the green and the pink. That's so cool. I love that. This is just the coolest little book. And I mean, age level wise, I'm assuming that, I mean, you could do this with kids and adults alike.
Yep, absolutely. I actually did, you know, I have a godson who's 3.5 and he wanted me to do a show and tell. And we were going to make pom-poms. And I was like, you know, that might be a little bit hard for 3.5-year-old. And then I went and we did tassels and 3.5-year-olds. I couldn't believe it. Usually I recommend to people 6 if the kid is crafty, but 8, they're totally set. And it's a great kind of family activity too. And when I did this event at the Craft Museum, it was people of all ages. You know, and it was so fun.
This is so fantastic. I mean, and the little projects, do you want to talk about the different artists that you had work with you on this?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I love the idea of decorating your loom.
Oh, right. Isn't that cute?
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
I totally would do that.
I know. I love personalizing. I mean, you know, I'm so lucky to have so many amazingly creative and giving people around me. And, you know, we have everybody from, Courtney Cerruti, who you know Courtney?
Yes, Courtney.
Yes. So Courtney is known for her surface design, and I was like, you know what? We should have like the ability to design on.
Oh my God! I didn't even realize that was Courtney.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. She's awesome. It wasn't even like an intentional plug. That's so awesome. She's fantastic. Anyways, I'm sorry. Keep going.
No, totally. I have Marie from Handcraft Studio School. She's somebody in the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area, who create this amazing workshop space of really great artists. So if you come and you want to make a broom, you want to learn how to like make the perfect pom-pom, you want to do natural dye. She has all these amazing classes. I have Aruna from Buku, who has a background in textile printing, and then she also does a lot of leather goods. So her scrap leather that she uses, we made earrings out of those. Marianne Moody, as you guys know, amazing weaver artist, used to be based in the U.S. She's now in Australia. Just a diversity of people, and we have Lindsay, who's she's a crafter. She's an expert crafter, and she has clients like Minnetonka, Kids, all these folks. So, my goal was to really also introduce people to different mediums of crafts. I feel like the tool is great and it makes all these things, but it's even more powerful when you could combine different mediums together as well. So that was my goal. And that's kind of how the project was formatted.
I love it. I'm getting notifications that my video wasn't on, so they want me to show the book again. All right, so This is where you're decorating your own loom, and this is what Courtney Cerruti did, you guys. And then, I don't know if my book was on earlier, but right there, see these? This is what I was showing about the tassels when they're wrapped right up here. So I would show everybody. Oh, that's so cool. I love this. I think this is great. And I think that you have kind of a show and tell sort of thing going on. Okay, so I'm going to let you take it from here.
Okay. I was talking to Marley earlier, and I wanted to show you guys how easy it is to actually use the tool. So I'm going to demo a quick, very basic tassel so you guys can see how awesome this tool is. And tassels are really easy to make. I'm sorry to disappoint anybody who wanted to make pom-poms. It is a little bit of a messier affair, so that's why I was like, okay, it's early in the morning. Let's keep it pretty simple. So if we're going to make tassel, this is a basic tassel. You're just going to take your yarn, and you're going to secure it one of the notches here. And this is why this tool is also great for
I feel
kids.
like I should be doing this with you.
Yeah, let's do it. Oh,
let me grab some yarn.
Yeah.
You know what? I have some, what do I have here? I have It's a Wrap. So I'm going to use It's a Wrap because it's nice and thin.
Okay, cool. Cool.
Just got to find the center. Isn't that's the chore, right? It's always the chore.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just pull it outside. Let me take the wrapper off.
I know. Sometimes I'm like, you know what? I ended up using because I have such a small piece left.
Yeah. All right. So I've got this start over. Okay. So awesome. Here I am.
Yep. And then you're going to secure to any of the notches here.
Okay. Any of them? All right.
Yep. And you don't even have to leave a long tail, maybe half an inch or whatever.
Okay.
Okay. And then you're going to wind this around like this, not too tight, not too loose. People always make, perfect.
Does it matter which direction? No. Does it matter?
Totally doesn't matter. Okay. Marla, you're so good. I could tell already. So just look at you. You're like, so go like maybe 30 or 40 revolutions. Sometimes different yarn. You have to experiment a little bit to get the look that you want. Okay. But I'm using fingering. You look like you're using fingering weight too, right?
It's lace weight. Yeah, it's super thin.
Oh, perfect. Even. So, if you want to make a chunky tassel, I would recommend using, a chunkier yarn. So again, experiment a little bit with the first one to get the look that you want. I'm going to make a very basic one.
As I'm going around, like it looks like it's getting thicker in the center than the outside. That's okay.
That's totally okay. Yep. Okay. Yep.
All right. I think I'm good.
When you're done, you're going to secure it to the same notch as you started. So this is important for tassels. You want to start and end on the same notch, and then you cut, leaving like a half-inch tail. That's it.
Does it matter? Okay. Does it matter which side I'm securing? So like, do I just, since they both went on that side?
Yeah, with tassels, you want to start and end on the same side. So you want to always make, with pom-poms, it totally doesn't matter.
Okay. Right.
So once you have this, you're going to cut yourself a string. What kind of yarn is that? Is that wool or is that?
No, it's cotton acrylic.
Okay. So you could probably cut yourself like maybe a 12 or 24 inch piece.
So cut this off?
Yep. Cut that off first and then cut yourself a separate piece. This is called, I'm going to call this the head knot.
Okay.
Okay, so cut yourself, and this is the string that you're going to use to attach it to whatever you want to attach it to. So it depends. I'm using a nylon cord here because maybe I'm going to use it to attach to my key ring later. Okay, now you're going to insert this into the middle of the right there. Yep, okay. Perfect.
Got it.
And then you're going to wedge it to.
I can't grab it. All right, got it.
Okay. And now you're going to wedge it to this side on top right here. Make sure it's on the opposite side, though, from where you started it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like all the way in there?
Yeah, it should look just like this.
Okay, let me get it all the way in there.
Yeah. Oh, this is so fun. I love
You're watching me learn. This would be perfect if I had I just bought the equipment to make it so that I could use like my real cameras, but I haven't set it up yet. This would have been perfect. All right, so here I am. And how long do I make this then?
You're going to make your ends just even at the end right here. Yeah.
Okay. Let me pull this up now.
I just realized you could totally have a Loome party just like on Skype or on Google Hangout like this, right?
I know, right? Yeah, you totally could.
Right? Okay. It's a good way to like have a conversation. Okay. Yes. All right. And then you're going to make a knot. Okay.
Just like a square knot?
Yep. Just a square knot. Okay. Sorry, you guys. I'm going to be out of view for a second because I'm going to put this on my lap.
Yeah.
And then there's a couple things that you guys can do. So you can either make your tight double knot now, or you could slip this off, which I find works better. Slip the yarn bundle off the tool and then finish with make your second knot. So
all right, so I just tied through once. And make my second knot after I slip it off?
Yeah. Yeah. So then that way it's really tight. I find that to work really, really well. You could still make your tight double knot while it's on the tool, but sometimes when the yarn bundle is on the tool, it has a different type of tension with your yarn. Yep.
So I could see where having that rounded edge would be easier for this.
Yeah, right?
All right, so now I'm off the tool completely.
Perfect. Yep, and then now you're going to finish your second knot.
Okay.
Just make sure it's tight. And honestly, if it's not tight, when you make that second knot and you're not happy with it, all you have to do is thread another piece of yarn, work it under here, make your tight double knot, and cut this original one off. So that happens sometimes. Sometimes you're not paying attention or something distracts you, and you can't make that tight knot.
Me get distracted? That don't happen. All right, so I have a pretty good tight knot here.
Awesome. So now you have this thing. So you and I are matching right now. All right. And now you guys are going to cut another piece of yarn. I always like to use a contrasting color, but again, it depends on what project you're working on. So I'm going to cut about a foot, like just go from your, you know, your what is it called? Fingers up to your shoulders.
I just pulled my yarn guts out because I wanted to do a different color, but now I'm all like I'm heaped up in guts. That's all right. I'm just gonna cut. I'll just cut. All right. So now yay, miraculous! Here we are. All right. So you said from my fingers to what? Like my shoulder?
Right there, your shoulders, exactly. Yep. And then just cut.
Okay.
Okay. So now I wonder if I could. Can I do this, Marley? Make
yes,
it like
absolutely.
So people can see it. Okay. All right. It's just always easier. And also all of this is also in the book, and we actually have supplement with the videos as well. So what I like to do is I like to smooth this down like this, my tassel, and then I'm going to lay it on top of my long string. And one side only needs to be about 3 inches or 4 inches. And then the rest, when it's long, just leave it like that.
Okay.
Okay. And then you're going to tie a tight double knot. So
all right.
Just
and
like
is it like halfway down the tassel or a certain distance?
Yeah, I would do like, you know what, like, so here, let me do a quick knot. See how my tassel now just looks like a classic tassel. So it depends what your preference looks like, what you want your neck. Sometimes people want like a longer distance between the head and the neck knot. I like a typical classic. So this is probably like maybe half an inch, a fourth of an inch. Okay. So it should look like this, if you guys can see. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to show mine real quick too.
Perfect. Looking good.
That good? Okay. All right.
So now what you're going to do is you're going to turn your tassel upside down and take your short end, and then take your head knot. And then you're going to pull the longer side and then just wrap this around like this. And this is what's going to make that kind of beautiful definition for your neck. And
do I wrap this tight?
Wrap it pretty tight. Yeah, make it. It doesn't have to be super tight, but you know, the tighter it is this way, it would just all stay together.
All right, I'm gonna redo this. I'm gonna wrap it so that I'm holding it in my right hand because that'll be easier.
There you go.
Okay, got it.
And the more you go, the more defined your neck knot will be. I just went maybe like 10 because I like a really pretty definition. And then now you're just gonna lay this back on and make a tight double knot.
So you lay like for me, I lay my purple one back down here and double knot it?
Yep.
Okay.
You could do it while you're holding it too, but I've never done that before.
I don't know. I don't think I'm that talented. All right. So I'm going to tie that and then tie it again.
Yeah.
I have a jewelry friend, a friend that makes jewelry, and when she ties it the second time, she does the wrap around, you know, like when you tuck it through the hole, she tucks it a couple times.
Yeah. That's like a macrame. That's like a macrame tip, I think, too. Yeah.
I don't know. It works really well. So I tend to use it. All right. So I have this. Okay.
Perfect. So now what you'll see is you have this knot here. So I don't have my my yarn needle. Hold on. Let me walk away and grab my yarn needle real fast.
Okay.
Tip to know.
All right.
1 second.
While she's gone, we can talk about her. Not just joking. I got my yarn needle right here. So I could grab mine. I got everything I need right here. Okay. You guys having fun? Let me see if I can leave the comments. I'm getting this book. Yay, Catherine's getting this book. A lot of people are enjoying this. I'm like, let's see what they're doing. Okay, here we go.
Okay. So especially for jewelry makers too. So sometimes, you know, you have this knot here and then you have this like these loose ends.
Yes.
If you want, you could just, you know, cut it and leave it draping like this, or to hide it. This is a really good trick. You take your it could be your plastic needle or any metal needle you have, yarn needle, and you're going to stick it in the middle of the tassel. Okay. And you can take one of your ends.
Middle of the tassel or middle of the wrap?
Yeah, middle of the tassel right here. See how I'm like,
okay. All right.
Like this? Yeah. Just go from the outside. It doesn't really matter where because it'll hide it, and then thread it.
Okay.
Okay. And then I'll show you guys. Okay. So then I'm going to now pull this through the middle of my tassel, and this hides This will hide the knot. The knot will automatically turn inside and your tail is going to be hidden, and repeat for your second tail.
Could you do both tails at once?
You could, but you know what? It's not going to save you time, only because usually the tail aren't the same length, and then one's going to catch up here. Okay. So I like to always do it one at a time.
It totally worked.
It totally worked, right?
All right, so I'm not going to trim the purple yet so you guys can see. See how the purple totally just tucked it in. That is so pretty. It's so pretty so far.
And then what I do is I just cut this like this. I cut the contrasting yarn.
Real close up to the wrap?
Yep, real close up to the wrap, so it's totally hidden. So now your knot is hidden, and also your tails are hidden.
Oh my God, it's perfect.
I know,
it's
perfect. It's these tiny little tips. I'm telling you, they're so great. And then now you're going to make your tassel. Take your scissors, pull, and then just cut.
All right, so
make sure you get all the loops. And then I'm going to just cut one more time to make sure all my ends are even.
I'm going to make sure I'm into all the loops here and give it a good pull.
Yeah.
And then cut. Okay. I know. And then I just trim anything that's not even.
Yep. And if you want this to be shorter, just cut it shorter. If you want it to be stubby, if you want it to be long, just leave it long like this. Loom party!
Oh my God, look at that!
And you know what I think? This is so funny. I feel like today, now you could give that tassel to somebody and it's totally going to make their day.
I made my own day. This is mine. Look what I made. This is awesome. I love this. I think I need earrings.
Yep. Oh my gosh, that looks so good on that color.
Pink is my signature color, I'm telling you.
Ooh, well, makes sense. That's it. See how easy that was?
That is so fun. Oh my gosh. And you guys, think of how many you can make with that. I mean, holy moly. And it's so just so everybody, it's a wrap, and that's all I used. I used the outside and the guts of the inside. It's so great. So awesome. I love this. Easy.
And then if you want to wrap the head, there's also that you showed on the cover of the book. It's super easy. You're just going to make a longer neck knot, and then you're just going to actually thread it throughout. You're just going to wrap the neck. And then there's also, we talk about how to do that as well in the book. And then there's stackable tassels. There's a wild and crazy tassel. So it's really cute. It's a great foundation for just getting started, because I make so many of these, and I learn from my own mistakes. So I try to incorporate all the tips in the book as well.
I love this. And I will give you a tip that my friend Selena Baca gave me. When she makes tassels, she hates it when she uses from the center of the ball of whatever she's using, because the yarn is usually crinkly. So when she makes tassels, if she knows she's making a project that she's going to put tassels on, she makes the tassels first, and she pulls from the outside of the ball, because it makes the yarn, if we're dealing with yarn, it makes it nice and smooth. And so she gets really nice tassels. Yeah. Just thought I'd throw it out there.
Oh my, you know what? It's so funny. That happened last week at Craftcation. We were making earrings for Jenny Lemons, and I completely forgot, because I guess I was like super busy. We pulled it out and I was like, oh, your earrings are kinky now. And then she's like, I think I'm just going to steam it. It'll be fine. So I was like, thank you. Teamwork.
Yep, that stuff is so cool. I'm evening up my ends because I didn't even out my stuff very well. There we are. That makes me happier. Okay. This is so pretty. Look at that, you guys.
So awesome.
Gosh. Long one. Gotta get it.
And also one more tip real fast. So sometimes if you guys make the tassel and you feel like your head here is maybe one yarn is a little bit bubbly, all you have to do is you just pull on both sides, and it kind of just naturally smooth it out, which is really easy also.
This is fantastic. Oh my gosh, these are so fun. You guys are going to want to make these. We should do these. Ooh, Caitlin and Brittany, if you're listening, we should do these for the kids' craft camp this summer, because these are so fun. So fun. Oh my gosh, this has been a blast. So what's really neat is those of you out there that are watching live, you have a chance to win one of these fantastic books with this great little tool that you literally just saw me do it too. It's the first time I used it. And all you need to do right now is in the chat room, I need you to put down, type in, I want to win, and then make sure you have smashed the like button of this video. Okay. So make sure you've hit that like button for this video, and then in the chat room, put in there that you want to win. I'm going to give you some time to get that going, and then Brittany will pick a winner for us, so that way we don't have to worry about doing it. I'm trying to clean up. Well, how do you deal with all of the little like trimming messes that you create, especially when you're doing pom-poms?
Yeah, you know what I always do? So I always give people a tip that always just work with a bowl or a tray underneath. And then that way you just put it in the trash. But if you're working with 100% wool yarn, if you're really into conserving, you can actually felt those scraps into a yarn, like a felt ball or whatever it is.
Like needle felt them.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? Just work with the bowl. It could be your soup bowl. It could be, a tray that you have. It makes cleaning up so much more pleasant. My gosh.
I usually have, I don't want to pull, like I have a trash can right there. I usually like put it between my legs and then I trim. It's not pretty.
Getting some thigh exercise too with that.
Yeah, we'll go with that. we'll let that be the answer there. It's so fun. Okay, so I've told the people that are listening live how they can win, but we are blessed enough that V has given us an opportunity to give a book away, not only to those of you who are watching live. Oh, it's not only a book, it's also the pom-pom necklace.
Yep. So I don't have it here. I totally forgot because I'm in LA right now, but everybody, whoever wins will get a pom-pom necklace. But you know what I could do too, since I don't have it here, we're going to actually custom make it. Whoever wins can tell me what their favorite colors are, and we'll custom make them in the studio for us in terms of colors. Yep.
Perfect.
Is that cool?
Perfect.
Okay.
I think that's awesome. So you are listening live. You're entering for a chance to win a copy of the book and a pom-pom necklace. And then after the show, actually not even after the show notes are up right now. If you go to marleybird.com and you look for the show notes for today's show, you will see that there's a brief synopsis of maybe things we talked about. There's links, there's images, all of that good stuff, so that way you can get your own copy of the book. At the bottom of the show notes, you'll see where it says leave a reply or leave a comment. And you are going to leave a reply or leave a comment that includes the keyword pom-pom or Loome, Loome. Okay, so use either one of those keywords in your comment or reply, and that enters you for a chance to win your very own copy of the book and another pom-pom necklace, right? Or just the book? Yeah, a pom-pom necklace too.
Always.
Okay.
Spread the pom-pom joy.
So I want to remind everybody that you must leave the comment on the show notes to be eligible for a chance to win, because that's where we go to look at all the comments to randomly select a winner. I love your comments here on YouTube. Of course I do. But if you are looking for a chance to win the actual book, you must leave them in the show notes. I've put a link to the show notes in the video description of this video so that you shouldn't have to look for them. But if you're on the Marley Bird website, if you click on podcast, you'll see where it says show notes. Click on show notes and just look for today's podcast. We pick a winner. Usually it's about 4 to 6 weeks after the podcast date. Lately it's been a little bit longer. So no matter when you're watching the show, just go leave us a comment. We love to read your comments. For example, several weeks ago, we had the lovely Megan Kreiner on the podcast, who is fantastic. V, if you've never met her, she's amazing. She works for DreamWorks. She's an animation person for DreamWorks. And so she knits and crochets amigurumi, and it's fantastic.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Really good. So we had Megan Kreiner on the show, and she's giving away a copy of her Christmas Ornaments to Crochet book. And the keyword was dragon, like how to train your dragon. Mm-hmm. And the lucky random comment chosen from the show notes from Megan's show is Tracy. Tracy said, I loved watching this show and learning about the purse foam. Thank you so much for sharing. Looking forward to the new dragon movie. So she's working on the new How to Train Your Dragon movie. And as she was talking to us about the construction of these different toys and stuff that she was making, she was saying that one of the best things she has learned to use is purse foam as filler, because it helps with giving, I think it was the concrete, like a concrete truck. It was giving it the shape of the concrete. It was fascinating. It was a really great podcast. If you're interested, go check it out, because she's amazing. But it was just a fun podcast. But lucky Tracy is the lucky winner. We will send her an email and get her information so that she can get a copy of the book. But it's that easy. Tracy just went to the show notes, left a comment. We randomly selected a winner, and bada bing, bada boom. So we'll do the same for Val's book as well. This has been so much fun. I am having such a good time.
Don't you love making I feel like now you're gonna go and like on your free time because you made it literally like 2 minutes. I'm sorry. Oh my God, you need a tassel on your scarf.
Oh yes.
I
I could do all sorts of, girl, you have no idea. I have already, like, so I told you I was filming something before I came to the video. I'm filming a video for my friend Ron Strong. It's a chic and strong crescent shawl that he designed.
Yeah.
And so now I'm like, ooh, can I incorporate tassels on his shawl? And I'm like, no, I can't like redesign his shawl. Maybe I'll design my own shawl and put tassels on it because this is fantastic. I love it. I love it so much.
And you know, one more tip also, if you want to make a bigger tassel and the tool, let's say, you know, the biggest tassel the tool will make is for this size tools is 2.5 inches. But you know what we did over the weekend? You just take out your smartphone and it's the same technique. You don't need the notches or anything like that. And it'll just get you a bigger tassel. And I think that's a great thing about the book too. It teaches you more about technique. And you're not always have to be married to the tool. The tool, of course, is so nice to have. But if you want a big tassel, because I know for a scarf, it's so nice to have those big tassels. So grab a smartphone or a piece of cardboard.
I love tassels. I think they're so fun. Anyways, we have so many people leaving comments over here wanting to win this book. So I'm gonna ask Brittany to go ahead and select a winner. So now she's typing. She's typing. All right, it says Joyce Gravino. Joyce Gravino is the lucky winner. So she's over there in the chat room. Let me type in there. Hey, Joyce. Joyce Gravino, congrats. All I need you to do is email me winner@yarnthingpodcast.com. Tell me what your mailing address and phone number is, as well as your favorite color, because V said that she will make you a pom-pom necklace of your favorite color. And I mean, how cool is that? You get a custom pom-pom necklace just made for you with this really great book. You're going to absolutely love it. It's so fun. So congratulations, Joyce. And all of you over there who are wanting to win this book because you saw how cool it was to make a tassel, you can just head right on over to Amazon or ask your local yarn store to carry this book and hold a pom-pom party, a loom party at your local yarn store and just have some fun with it. I think it would be really cool to do. This has been so much fun.
Thank you, Marley. I'm like, now I'm going to go make more tassels.
I know, right? Well, I got to make another pink one. I got to make 2. So this is awesome. Thank you so much for joining me on the podcast. This has been such a treat.
Likewise, Marley. You're awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, everybody. So that's it for today's show. This is the Yarn Thing podcast with Marley Bird. Today's guest is V, and her book, I'm going to hold it up, is Loom Party. The link is in the video description. It's in the show notes. You can find it. You need to get this. It's so much fun. We all have a stash with some yarn scraps we can use, and why not support a fellow crafter doing what she loves and helping us do what we love as well. Let's say thank you to our sponsors one more time: Creative Bug, Craftsy, Buffalo Wool Company, Erin Lane Bags, and certainly not least but last, Red Heart Yarns, where I'm the proud national spokesperson. Thanks, everybody. See you again soon.